momentous occasion when the Prime Minister had chosen All India Radio Akashvani. He has not been afraid of experimenting with technology. It is a mass movement, it is Jan Bhagidari, it is about public participation. Best, finest example of the power of broadcasting.
Namaskar and a very warm welcome. I am Smriti Rastogi. Mann Ki Baat, the monthly radio program hosted by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi to converse directly to the citizens of our country and share his thoughts on the issues of national and international importance. Over 9 years, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has used this platform to connect with the people, sharing his thoughts, ideas and vision for the country. The radio program was started in October 2014 and is broadcast in 22 Indian languages, 29 dialects and 11 international languages through multiple platforms. On the occasion of 100th episode of Mann Ki Baat last month in April, former CEO of Prasar Bharati, Shri Shashi Shekhar Vempati, has authored this journey in his book called Collective Spirit, Concrete Action, Mann Ki Baat and its Influence on India. A very warm welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So when we talk about this book which you have authored, if I'm not wrong, this is your first book?
Yes.
What was the idea behind writing this book? What prompted you to author?
So over the last 5 years, I was the CEO of India's public broadcaster. And it was a matter of great pride for us and a momentous occasion when the Prime Minister had chosen All India Radio Akashvani as the platform for his monthly interaction with the citizens of India through the program Mann Ki Baat. So it was always a program that was very dear and close to me, working in the public broadcaster. So with the program, reaching this milestone, momentous milestone of 100 episodes, it was an appropriate moment to take a look at, its impact, its influence on India, and what it means to, the overall broadcasting as a public service, and put it in the context of the transformation that the Indian democracy has gone through under Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
सर, जब हम फोकस की बात करें, इस किताब का, इस बुक का क्या फोकस है? मन की बात के इतने एपिसोड्स, जो 100 एपिसोड्स हुए और अभी लगातार जो जन सरोकार है वो चल रहा है. ऐसे में सर क्या लगता है आपको कि ये जो फोकस है आपकी बुक का, कौन से ऐसे इम्पॉर्टेंट इवेंट्स हैं या कौन से ऐसे इम्पॉर्टेंट गेम चेंजर फैक्टर्स हैं जिनको आपकी बुक हाईलाइट करती है?
So the book takes a thematic look at the length and breadth of the subjects that the Honorable Prime Minister has focused on during these 100 episodes of Mann Ki Baat. Specifically, if you look at he has touched a variety of topics, and in fact I had this spreadsheet which I was using to analyze the episodes as part of the research for this book, and it ran into almost 25 tabs. So that gives you a sense of the wide span of themes that the Prime Minister focused on. And within each theme, across these various episodes, he has taken a very in-depth look at individuals, change makers, organizations that are making a difference. He has tapped back into history, drawn inspiration from history, put it in modern context, and also shared the vision and the future for India. So in that sense, the book is that broad and that deep, and in terms of subjects, it focuses on India's soft power, public diplomacy. It talks about conservation, environment, sustainability. It talks about culture, national integration, nationalism. And gender inclusion, for example, is a very big focus. So it has gone across the length and breadth of what would be relevant in the context of development of a democracy, a large democracy, a diverse democracy like India.
How would you describe Mann Ki Baat connecting with the masses of the country? How it has brought about a change in their perspective, getting them connected not only to the national issues of national importance, but globally also to keep them updated or to inform them various events which are significant.
So if you look at Mann Ki Baat, and if there's one word that kind of encompasses or describes it in its entirety, it is positivity. So what Prime Minister has done in engaging citizens and involving them in Mann Ki Baat is to give a positive outlook, positive perspective to the changes that the country is going. In a country like India, which has such diversity, right, such extremities in terms of socio-economic challenges, you can always, take a very pessimistic, a very cynical view. You can always argue that, the glass is always half empty. But what the Prime Minister has done with Mann Ki Baat is that he's shown that the glass is half full, and he has brought positivity, in every aspect of the change that's happening, and I think that is what has made the biggest difference. And when you take a lady entrepreneur, from remote part of Manipur, for example, or a Divyang individual in Kerala who's doing cleaning of lakes, for example. And you talk about them in a national platform, it makes a huge difference. It not only gives immense confidence to that individual, it also improves their standing within their community, but more importantly, it inspires others to be like him or her. And I think that makes a huge difference, and that creates this very virtuous cycle of positivity across the country. I think that is what the Prime Minister has been able to achieve with Mann Ki Baat. And as you rightly pointed out, it's not limited to India. Its impact and influence has gone well beyond India's borders.
Absolutely, sir. When we talk about the diplomacy, India's global diplomacy, how significant do you see Mann Ki Baat is in affecting or in fostering or in strengthening the relationships with other countries, in boosting the diplomatic viewpoint of India and placing us as somebody, as a country which is a Vishwa Guru when we talk about Vasudev Kutumbakam? How do you see Mann Ki Baat playing an important role in that perspective as well? And how has your book highlighted or has captured this well?
So if you look at Mann Ki Baat, especially it's in its very early episodes, in fact probably the 4th episode in January of 2015, the Prime Minister had a very interesting guest. In fact, perhaps that is the only time where he's had a guest, an international one at that, for the entire episode. True. And that was President Obama. So clearly when he conceptualized Mann Ki Baat in 2014, at the back of his mind, it was already clear to him that this is not just limited to India. Its impact and influence would go well beyond India's borders. And that episode with President Obama is unprecedented. I don't think any country has had such a radio interaction with a visiting head of state and the head of government, engaging with citizens, taking questions. True. And talking about all kinds of issues, developmental issues. I think it's a very unique episode. So that kind of set a very high bar for Mann Ki Baat from a diplomacy and India's influence standpoint. And then over the years, if you look at the entire series of episodes, the Prime Minister has made a conscious effort to involve the diaspora in Mann Ki Baat. He has spoken about, for example, a couple in New Jersey who have popularized Malkham, a traditional Indian sport. Right. He's talked about brothers from Nagpur who took up tribal issues in the in the United States. He's talked about how Hindi is so popular, in Fiji, and in various parts of the diaspora of Indian origin across various countries. He's given some very interesting examples which have actually made international news. So, for example, there's this daughter of a former Prime Minister of Kenya, Raila Odinga, and this lady has a problem with her eyesight, and she undergoes Ayurvedic treatment in Kerala, and the Prime Minister talks about that experience, and that catches the attention of newspapers in Africa in terms of how Ayush has potential. Right. As an alternative medicine. So that's, I think, tremendous boost to India's soft power. Similarly, yoga. So the examples are, numerous in terms of how Mann Ki Baat as a public diplomacy platform has, taken both India's ancient heritage, India's present context, and India's aspirations globally.
If you can elaborate on the Atmanirbhar Bharat aspect which you have mentioned in the book, how this has augmented people and augmented their dreams, and India as a new India, it has propelled it to a newer heights. When we talk about the new India, Amrit Kal, which we are getting into, how it has propelled India.
See, the one aspect of the positivity that the Prime Minister has been imbuing with Mann Ki Baat has been to inspire and motivate the youth of India to not just be aspirants for jobs but become job creators. In fact, an entire chapter is dedicated to this theme around how he has put his focus around youth and the energy of youth, and you see the impact of that tangibly with the Startup India movement, the number of startups, the number of unicorns. And then he has, over the the years, he has given specific examples of startups which are into space for the first time. India opened up its space sector to the private industry, and then you have all these startups that have built satellites, built launch vehicles, and then they've been featured on Mann Ki Baat. Similarly, you have startups that are working in the biotech sector with Ayush and India's herbal heritage and making all kinds of interesting products. In fact, the back of the book, you'll see a lady entrepreneur from Manipur, Vijay Shanti. She was also featured in the 100th episode by the Prime Minister as well, where she's done interesting things with lotus stems, coming up with textiles, coming up with tea, new fragrances, and she's become an inspirational figure, not only creating jobs herself, but also inspiring others, to take up similar initiatives. So that is the impact of, on the youth of India, that, they have the motivation, the confidence that they can create something for themselves, which has an impact on their community as well as on the broader economy of the country.
Something as a citizen of this country, I would really like to understand that why an outreach program like this never occurred to the predecessors. Why, there was a time when the radio connectivity was such that a huge impact could be created by directly interacting with the people, with the masses through radio. But what was the reason why an idea like this never occurred to them, and why Prime Minister Narendra Modi could leverage this idea and get a direct connect to the people of the country?
So if you look at the spectrum of citizen-leader communication, right, it has undergone a lot of transformation over the decades. In fact, we looked at international examples as well to see where else has something similar been attempted. And the only example you get is in the United States. It started with President Roosevelt with his fireside chats, and then it has become a tradition where the president would address the people on weekends on radio. But that is still it is not Mann Ki Baat, because there's a difference, because there you tend to see topics which are political, partisan, making an appearance. Mann Ki Baat is very unique that it is completely non-partisan, apolitical, and if you look back at India's history, radio has been used by various prime ministers for national addresses when there's an emergency, when there is some kind of a crisis. But this kind of sustained conversation with the people, month after month, where the focus is not politics, it is not 24/7 news cycle, but it is about the fundamental issues that matter to the people, that matter to communities, I think is without a precedent. It's very unique. And to your question of why hasn't someone else done it, that's hard to tell, why others have not done it. But I can tell why this Prime Minister has done it. Because if you look at his entire career, right, he has not been afraid of experimenting with technology. He has looked at technology as a means to connect directly with people, which is why he was one of the first to take on social media. He was one of the first to live stream his speeches on YouTube. And you have his very innovative Narendra Modi app. If you look at MyGov as a digital platform for citizen outreach, again, it is unprecedented. It is all about, involving citizens as volunteers through using digital technologies. So radio in that sense is really about taking this to scale, because radio historically has been the medium with the widest reach. In fact, he talks about it in one of the episodes as well. So to him, radio is a force multiplier. It has taken this direct outreach and amplified it on a much bigger scale, on a scale of 1 billion. And because it is also the first visual radio program, and very innovative format where you also have visuals overlaid with the audio of the radio program, All TV channels carry it as well. We have seen data which shows almost more than 115, 120 TV channels carrying Mann Ki Baat. It's available on all digital platforms. It's available on smart devices like Alexa. So technology has been a huge amplifier, taking this radio program and touching billions of people. So that is what has been unique. Why he has done this, because he's always believed in that direct connect with the people, and that's a constant if you look at his entire career. Over the decades.
So this is the reason why we can call it a success among the masses in the era of digitalization, the way he has used technology to amplify his reach to the masses.
Yes, it's reach as well as engagement. Because if you look at Mann Ki Baat, people are able to contribute to it using a variety of methods, be it through the MyGov platform, be it through social media, be it writing good old postcards, dialing in and leaving a message, audio message on the IVR platform. So in that sense, it is a mass movement. It is Jan Bhagidari. It is about public participation, and you see the impact of that in every initiative, be it Swachhta, be it water conservation, be it the various calls to action that he has issued through Mann Ki Baat. Selfie with daughter, Incredible India.
Right.
At every stage, you see that the involvement is borne out by tangible participation of citizens. In various areas, various themes.
This is your first book, Mr. Vempati. So, as someone who has been closely following Mann Ki Baat over a period of 9 years, what has been your submission as someone who was very closely in niche of the events and someone who headed a public broadcaster, Prasar Bharati, as a CEO? What is your submission? How do you see this journey of Mann Ki Baat?
To me, I think this is the best, finest example of the power of broadcasting and the power of the medium, be it radio, be it television. And there's always a debate on, why do we need a public broadcaster? How is public broadcasting relevant? I think Mann Ki Baat, more than emphasizes that this is the reason why public platforms exist, because this is outreach. That will not, sell commercial TV. It will not be a priority for commercial radio, but for public TV, public radio, this is the kind of content that makes sense, and it's, I think, a great opportunity for the public broadcaster that the Prime Minister chose this platform. And when I look at the entire journey of Mann Ki Baat over the last 9 years, what stands out to me is that it has, given a lot of confidence to every Indian that you have a rich heritage to be proud of. You can learn lessons from it, but at the same time, you have to put it in the context of modern science, modern technology, modern circumstances, and that is how we build, the roadmap for the future. And I think that is what has been the biggest learning for me. That there's so much to learn from the past, but we must not be stuck in the past. We have to put it in the modern context, and we have to look to the future and approach it with a very positive mindset and a mind frame.
Congratulations once again, Mr. Vempati, for this book, Collective Spirit, Concrete Action, Mann Ki Baat and its influence on India. And thank you so much for joining us today and helping us understand what are the key takeaways from your book.
Thank you, and thanks to this platform. Wishing you all the very best for the program.
Our gratitude once again, Mr. Vempati. Well, that's all we have for you. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.